We keep hearing about bank NPAs. What are these NPAs and how do they reflect a bank's credit quality? Let's take a look. Now, loans or credit instruments of banks are called assets, and when a borrower fails to make repayment of the interest, principal or EMI for a period of 90 days from the due date, such an asset gets classified as non-performing asset. In other words, what was earlier a standard asset becomes a non-performing asset or NPA. The movement of an asset from standard category to NPA is called as slippages or formation of bad loans. Let's take a look at what is a gross NPA and a net NPA. So, the gross NPA are the aggregate of all loans or credit that has turned bad for a lender, and the net NPAs are nothing but gross NPA minus the provision made by the lender. A high level of gross NPA suggests that many loans given by the bank are not being repaid, and this is not a healthy sign. RBI came out with special mention accounts which exhibit signs of incipient stress resulting in the borrower defaulting in timely servicing of their debt obligations, though the account has not yet been classified as NPA as per RBI guidelines. So, this is done so that early recognition of such accounts will enable banks to initiate timely remedial actions to prevent their potential slippages into NPAs. So, there are three categories of SMA: SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2. So, SMA 0 are loans which are overdue between 0 to 30 days from the date of installment. SMA 1 are those loans which are overdue between 31st to 60th day from the date of installment, and SMA 2 are those loans which are overdue between 61st day to 90th day. So, what happens when the loans are not repaid on 91st day? They become NPAs. Now, let's take a look at the movement of gross NPA of a bank in a particular period. I have taken an example which suggests the gross NPA opening to be at about 100 crores. Add to that slippages or formation of bad loans of about 20 crores, and then you have reduction in the format of upgrades, recovery and write-offs. I have taken an example of 5 crore, 5 crore and 7 crores. So, recoveries also include those assets which are sold to ARCs or asset reconstruction companies. Any NPAs that are written on or marked down to zero value due to unlikelihood of any recovery are also deducted in the format of write-off. So, with this example, we are left with a closing gross NPA of about 103 crores. Now that we have understood gross NPA and net NPA, let's dig deeper into the categories of NPAs. RBI specifies three broad categories of NPAs. These are substandard, doubtful and loss assets. Assets that remain non-performing for less than or equal to 12 months are classified under substandard assets, and those about 12 months are classified under doubtful assets. Now, in doubtful asset itself, you have various categories at D1, D2, etc. with a gap of 1 year each. Loss assets are those which have been identified as loss, and the recovery cannot be done at all. They are therefore mostly written off from the NPAs by making 100% provisions. So, other than the recognized NPAs, there are also restructured accounts where the terms of repayments have been revised, and loans that are under the insolvency proceeding for resolutions. So, these are the important NPAs to track in case of banks, as their final settlement value can be lower than the loan given to them. The difference between the loan given and the amount recovered from a stress asset is nothing but haircut. And these are the various categories of stress assets, their recognition methods and how they are differently classified in the balance sheets of a bank, right from being SMA 0 to the doubtful category or being written off.